And if it's not on, it's just not on, really. Remember that ad? If it's not on,
I
it's
do.
not on. Make sure you wear
Yes, it was
condoms, kids.
marketing
Really,
genius.
really effective.
Is this thing on?
Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. It is a lovely duo of awesome Australianness at the moment. We're just
I
chilling out,
know.
living our best life. Jeffrey
What
Emmett
is
was
going
here.
on?
I don't know. Jeffrey Emmett was here 2 seconds ago. Then his computer froze. It looked like he had depression. So we're hoping that he will return to us because otherwise it's just you and me. And we could have done this as a phone call.
We could have. Now,
We
where is
could have.
Vera tonight, Steve? Because I'm a little bit excited for her.
Vera is getting the boobs out at Bruce Springsteen. Well, I hope she
Yeah.
is. I hope she's
Throwing
shimmying her up,
Throwing a knickers on the stage.
just chucking it
Gay
around,
for
you
it,
know.
Steve.
Her and her sister are there after the last concert he had to cancel in the old Cuse. So they're bopping on. They're bopping on in Syracuse to Bruce Springsteen, I believe. Uncensored Horrors, Katie McCarthy is also there. So it's just a bit of an uncensored radio moment.
It really
I didn't get
is.
invited. Did you get invited? I didn't get invited. It's rude.
No, they didn't invite me. They said there was something about the ocean being between us being a
I know,
problem.
right? An ocean
You know.
between us. That's all right. We
Oh,
like an ocean between us
Speaking of
sometimes.
oceans,
Here he is, Mr. Uncensored himself, Jeffrey Ray. How are you?
Not an ocean, bitch. It'd be a whale.
a whale.
You're a
Oh,
whale.
come on. Isn't
We're
Migaloo
talking-
missing? Like
Look,
the actual
that was
white
the
whale?
best job offer I've ever gotten in my life was SeaWorld, and I should have taken it, but I didn't like fish. Like the health insurance was phenomenal.
And their fins go all saggy, the big whales, and they're sad in
And
there.
they're sad.
Right, and then they kill the trainers. I mean, because they're pissed.
Well, that would
Look,
fit in with you.
Really?
Murder and mayhem, you know?
The first time I went to America in
Poor Lord
2010, we went to SeaWorld, and they still had whales and everything. And it was all exciting. And literally, like 4 days after we went, one of the whales attacked the trainer during a show. I'm like,
I know.
missed it by that much.
Well, we had up by us, Marineland was like the thing, right? And they had like the wild deer. And what was so much fun about that is you're out in very open space and there's just deer everywhere, and they have the whale show and everything too. But we went with the lesbians, and it was Shannon and her girlfriend, and the girlfriend was. Didn't the deer chase that bitch all through the whole thing? They didn't like her. They knew. They knew.
Just side note quickly, do you think it's hilarious we all have friends that we refer to as the lesbians?
Well, it's just like we're the gays. You know what I mean? Like,
fair cop, fair cop.
It's a totally different
Steve, you
generation.
are muted. You're talking a lot, but no sound is coming out.
It's a good look.
Still
for
no
him.
sound coming out. There's just nothing.
I'm muted on the computer. I'm so sorry. I was like to say, sometimes there's the X-Men and sometimes there's the Avengers and sometimes there's the Fantastic Four, you know. There's different subsets of superhero teams, and when they combine, wonderful things happen. It's okay.
Look, come on. You're telling me you didn't have like the lesbians around because you knew that they were going to fix your shit? You know what I mean?
Baby, I am in their house right now.
I'm saying you had to keep them handy. Somebody had to fix the goddamn plumbing. You know what I mean? Like
anytime I have flat pack furniture, right?
Yeah.
I will say that, like, I'm terrible at doing lawn. I can't mow for the life of me. Whippersnipping is like a skill set I'm still trying to level up. But the lesbians just take to it, like, you know.
I should have been one. It was always in my 20s. It was always me and the lesbians.
My dream.
It was always me. And like I had the Birkenstocks. I would have drove a Subaru. It would have been fine.
Jeff, if you shave your beard, you'd look like that one from
Rosie O'Donnell.
Orange is the New Black. You know, with the short hair. if you got really long, short hair at the front, you'd be like, you could do that. That'd be cute.
Yeah.
Well,
I told
Steve,
you.
Jeff, we were
this
just
was going to be
talking
a
about
nasty show.
how Vera and Katie McCarthy are at Bruce
Bruce
Springsteen right
Springsteen.
now. I'm betting money that Vera's throwing those knickers on stage, but you know,
so two of the girls from work and I bought tickets one day kind of in between customers to go see Keith Sweat in May. Guarantee you panties are going to be on stage.
Well,
beautiful.
You're just going because you're doing NKO TV as well, aren't you? You're having a busy. You're having a busy life.
I don't get any free time, so I'm like, I'm going to make the most of the little free time I'm going to take.
You got to book it out,
and the kids and I are going to go do a whole bunch of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't get a ton of time, so when we do, we're going to go do the things.
Some choreography.
And it's hard too. Like, you gotta push yourself with kids, I find, because you know, when you've worked all week, what do you want to do? Nothing. You just want to veg. But the kids want to do stuff, and you're like, what's fair here? Can I just neglect and say no? But I always cave, and I'm like, yeah, sure, we'll go to the beach. Yeah, sure, we'll go shopping. But then I'm just, you know, you burn yourself out to the point where you're just like, leave me alone now. Do you get that, Jeffrey? I don't know.
The beach does not sound like a problem to me. Like, that sounds like
no, it is when they they run out into the water and then like get sucked out with the tide, and it's like, oh, now I've got to go and rescue them. It can be problematic.
Oh dear.
Absolutely, it can. So you don't live near the water, so you don't. When you're there, like you're there.
Well, we had the lake, but it wasn't like the ocean where you got to worry about getting sucked out. You know, it was like life jackets. We're on the dock. Go.
Oh, well, we've got like crocodiles in our water now too.
Yes, we didn't have any of that.
All the lovely jellyfish, sharks. Sharks are making a comeback.
Yeah,
taking away people.
Sharks are making a comeback.
Maybe you should put a kiddie pool up in that backyard and let she could share with the dogs.
My backyard right now, because we've just had a whole deluge of rain, haven't we, Steve, here in Australia?
It's been rainy.
And so my yard, I had it mowed like 2 weeks ago because I've just explained how much I love mowing. All perfect, lovely. Now it's just Jurassic Park again because it's just like those kids in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids would be absolutely fucked if they were in my yard right now. Absolutely. They were crying about their yards not mowed. That shit was fine. Like, out there, you don't even have to be shrunk for shit to eat you out in my yard right now.
You guys kind of live in the danger zone. I mean, between the magpies, and then...
I think magpie attacks are hilarious. I don't know about you,
Oh, they
Steve.
are!
I kind of... like they are quite, you know, your adrenaline goes and you may lose an eye, but it's mostly all in fun. I think.
What the hell are those crabs on Easter Island?
I have no idea.
Oh, they're huge. Did you not see that? So have you? Oh, well, Jeff, you get in a TikTok hole like I get in a TikTok hole. Have you seen? They think that they've discovered Amelia Earhart's plane. Did you see that?
Oh, I saw that.
So, but here's the thing.
How does this relate to crabs?
Here's what happens because she crashed on a reef and they were getting intermittent radio signals, but it was only during when the tide was low. So she could get out to the plane, send a signal, and then the tide would come, so she'd have to go back. Because at night on the island where she lived, there were giant meat-eating crabs that came out at nighttime. And we're talking
what kind of horror movie shit is that?
That's that, and then they found bones. Like they found bones on that island that had been cracked by crabs. She could have been eaten alive by fucking giant crabs. That's horrifying. No,
that's a crab problem. Well, no.
There you go. That's my Amelia Earhart story for you.
Come back from.
She fucking didn't she?
Could you imagine like being like surviving the plane,
a plane crash, yeah,
only to be eaten alive by fucking crabs?
It didn't happen straight away though, because they were getting these intermittent radio signals for like a while
No,
after
she
the
would have had to
plane
get
crash.
real weak first, so she couldn't fight him off anymore.
Imagine being not weak. Yeah, not weak.
It's no matter what, no matter how it plays out, to be eaten alive by fucking crabs on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Do you understand what the fuck I'm telling you? This is
It's
like
not the dream.
It's like, oh, how did he die? Oh, then he went down. He was in coach. How did he die? On his way to Greece in a private jet. It's just got a different ring to it. How'd she die? She crashed on a fucking island, and meat-eating crabs got her.
Big ones.
What the
Big
fuck?
crabs. Like, they're
Who
huge.
does
And
that happen to?
apparently there's so many of them that, like, when they come out, you can't actually see the ground. They just all come out of, like, it's like a horror movie.
Like
It's
that
like
was
that scene in The Mummy, right? Like the scarabs or whatever. That just
Yeah, scarab beetles come out.
like that whole like place just needs like the
A bomb.
the cockroach bombs and just kill all them motherfuckers. There can't
Delicious
be any
all you
reason
can-
we need those on the planet.
All you can eat crab buffet, set it up there. Amelia's all you can eat crab buffet.
Stop it. This is a business venture we
This is
could
gonna
do.
be- Yeah.
Florida.
Out to the islands.
Florida.
Out to the islands.
Amelia's Crab Shack.
Yeah. Amelia. We could call it Amelia's Last Stand. And have a plane-shaped restaurant that kind of dips into the ocean. That'd be
All
great.
they can eat crabs.
Yeah, the crabs crawl up and you smack them and you eat them. Smack them and you eat them. Smack them and you eat them. It'd be good times. What do you think? All right, here. What do you think? Since we're talking about crabs, I love that this show. We're 12 minutes
I
in. We're
don't
talking
know
about
what's
crabs.
happening. See what happens when the women aren't here? Crabs.
Do you think it's? Do you think it's cruelty? Do you think it's cruel to cook them alive?
Yes.
You know how you put them in the pot and they go
Yes.
cruel but
But
delicious.
can they? I don't know. See, I don't know enough
They
about crabs. I
scream.
don't know what their central nervous system is. I
Do
don't
they
know
scream?
enough.
It can't be good.
Isn't
They
that the
fucking
air
scream.
escaping the shell though?
No, that's them screaming because you're boiling them
Oh.
alive. But apparently there was like, correct me if I'm wrong, because someone usually does. There was research done recently that apparently when you cut flowers, they scream.
Oh,
So even
come
if
on
you're
now.
even if you're a hippy dippy trippy, like no animals must die, if you're cutting flowers, you're cutting something from its central nervous system.
Look out
Like
for the
Tash
happening.
Peterson. You're still a murderer then, Tash. Even
Also,
with your-
like, I also read another thing last night that apparently when the body dies, the human brain stays alive for 7
No,
minutes
I don't want to talk about that one. I read that one a while ago. I can't.
after, and it like,
Yeah,
but
no,
it doesn't,
that's
it doesn't
sort
feel,
of my
it doesn't feel, no, it doesn't feel pain or anything. All it does is replay like like your greatest hits.
No,
like
Steve,
it
come
goes-
on. We don't need to be.
But what if you
basing
don't
our
have
own
7 minutes
mortality-
worth?
Come on.
What am
You
I
know what's
supposed to
gonna
do
play
for
for those
5.5
7 minutes?
minutes?
This
This
conversation. I'm
No,
gonna be
but
like,
I
gee,
wonder, could you imagine?
here
what
comes
if-
the crabs.
What if we're all dead, right? Because think about it. When you dream, it goes on for weeks sometimes. Like, have you ever had a dream that feels like it went on forever?
This is the worst dream.
I've never had a weak one, but I've had like I've had like a micro sleep, but it felt like I'd been asleep for hours because
Yeah,
like,
but
the
that's
whole
what
big
I'm saying,
scenario
like,
played out.
Time is different in a dream. So essentially, you know what I mean? That time gap of when you die, when your brain is still firing, could
That
be a
7
lifetime.
minutes could be your whole life.
Yeah.
And imagine
all be a
Amelia
documentary.
like going through her life, and then she's in the
Just
place.
eaten
Like,
by
oh shit! I
fucking
got
crabs
crashed
for
through the
eternity.
crabs.
Last 10 minutes is like, oh no, plane crash. What's that? Oh no. Scuttle, scuttle, scuttle. Oh. Can you imagine their little legs on rocks and stuff?
Yeah, no, I would like to think that. Well, obviously, I can't say that she just died in the crash because she didn't. She was sending
Well,
little
evidence
sleepy things
evidence
out.
is suggesting that she survived for quite some time after that crash. So God,
And
God
everyone
love
was
you,
too
Amelia.
useless to save her. So
Well, what about her
I
co-pilot?
apologize, Amelia.
He
that-
apparently they think that he was injured in the crash, so he survived, but he was injured, so he died first. So maybe she
Crab's
ate
got
him
it.
as well.
No, crabs did.
She ate the crab leftovers.
Hmm.
Oh. All right,
Very
we should probably
morbid.
get on to some stuff, hey? Let's
Yeah.
look at the ever-shaking bosom of our
Let's
friend
show
Katrina
some
Atkinson. Our
used internet.
Emmy-nominated friend.
Hot
Shaken
load
girl.
of hot topics.
Sensitive topic after last week, obviously. Emmy nominations. All right, well, we have to address it. We'll do the serious story first because it literally happened straight after the show last week. Oh, gosh.
I don't know what
So
it is.
the
Oh,
Australian general public are, I think, still in shock as to what happened at Westfield Bondi last week when a mentally ill man with a knife attacked several people, ended up killing 6 before he was shot and killed by a lone police officer. Now, this is a really hot button issue at the moment. I've seen lots and lots and lots of different opinions on XYZ, but when it comes down to it, as we always say on this show, and as Jeffrey has passionately pointed out before, this is definitely a mental health issue before it was anything else. The problem, the issue that I see now is the way that the media is reporting it.
it's
Obviously,
completely sensationalistic. They've identified the wrong suspect first, potentially
Yeah.
ruined someone else's life. Then they've been camping out in front of this guy's parents' house because, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
we need to see what his
wrong.
dad's doing in his backyard. And it's,
And those-
it's
those parents are dealing with, are dealing
know.
with the shock of what happened, and they're not obviously the kind of people that are savvy enough to know what the media are doing.
exactly.
Because
They're not.
they're speaking to
they're
the
from a
they're
small
speaking
Are they
town.
to media.
trash? Are they trash?
No, they're just small town people, small town religious
Simple.
people that don't really, obviously don't
Are they
interact a
saying
lot.
all the wrong shit?
They're just saying a lot. Like,
Oh,
when someone would advise you to just apologize
fuck
and
up.
say that, but they just keep talking, and because
have
they're
a
not
written statement and be
they're
done.
not they're not savvy to the media, they just keep talking and
So-
keep talking.
You haven't booked
It's
them
sad.
because why?
No, because I don't think you honestly you wouldn't get near them at the moment because they've probably got Channel 7, Channel 10, like they've probably got the mainstream media up their asses.
Well, they're
And they-
literally
this-
at their house.
They
They
wouldn't
can't
have
even
any
get
help.
out of
Like
their
that,
house.
that's the
So-
sad thing about it. They wouldn't have any help. Like, regardless of what you think, and of course, like their son's mental illness is not their fault. As the father had said, he basically gave up his career and life to look after his son and make sure he was never alone and always someone was with him to look after him. But when that young man becomes an adult and he is not, for want of a better term, institutionalized or part of a system, it's easy to slip through the cracks and you can leave the state. And then no one has any idea of where you are, what kind of treatment you're getting, and if you're dangerous. That's a big problem.
There are a lot of issues with how our current medical model, I guess, deals with mental health. It's kind of, and I'll choose my words pretty carefully because I think the system's doing the best that it knows how to, but I think we need so much more resource put into it to be able to flag this kind of stuff. Now, this guy was known to police, which means that there's been some questionable things already happen, things that have made them know who he is and he's on their radar. We probably need to have a system in place that doesn't just leave people out there. And I have seen it firsthand many times when I know that someone's not safe, and sometimes they're just not safe for themselves, and they're quite vulnerable. And they're the ones who'll probably get hurt because they're saying inappropriate stuff and whatever else. But there's not a lot that our current system can do for them either.
Luke, do you think that that's
I'm
why?
not saying bringing back institutions, but I just think.
But do you think that that's why at the moment one of the biggest jobs, one of the jobs that you see advertised most often, and it's always the first thing, and it pays really well, is caring, like an assistant, like carer. There's so many people that I know that work.
You know why?
In the industry
because there's
now.
a high burnout rate, and especially mental health nurses always. If you want a job as a nurse and you're having any difficulty, you can go and work in an inpatient unit straight away because the staff burn out very quickly. They burn out faster than emergency staff, and it's because of a different kind of pressure that's there. There's a lot of psychological pressure for you to be in an environment where you're constantly being challenged, you're constantly being, dealing with other people's stuff. And if you're someone who's got a lot of empathy, it's a lot of shit to take on.
Yeah, it is. I just find it very. I find it very. Sorry, before you jump in, I find it very interesting that one of the first comments that I read about this thing was from an American, and they went, "Oh, how do you feel about your gun laws now?" I'm like, I feel fantastic about our gun laws now because if this guy had a gun, could you imagine? Like for him to have a knife is horrible and shows a lot of intent, but a gun would just have made. I reckon there'd be at least triple the body count, and it would be a horrible, horrible, horrible loss of life, more so than a magnitudinal thing.
And I know we're speaking a lot about the perpetrator, but there's 4 women and 1 man that have lost their lives in this as well. There's been a baby that's now got no mother that was stabbed as well. The baby was stabbed. There's just, I don't know, I kind of feel like there's some stuff in our society right now that's not okay. And I don't know whether it's because we lack a sense of community in the Western world. I don't have the answers. If I had the answers, then I'd be running the country. But I just feel like the more that we are segregating ourselves and this big push for individualism, it's sort of perpetuating this divide between us all when we're all really more similar than we are different, and we're all in it together. And I kind of think we've lost that over the last 20, 30 years. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Look, I get that, but what really kind of irks me is the coverage. Like, it's disaster porn. People are like, look at how tragic this is. We're not gonna let you stop looking at this.
Twin Towers, like the Twin Towers was
that was a historic world event. But this is
a big event for a country like ours because we don't have this thing happen a lot. If this happened in the States, we probably wouldn't even know about it.
But this is
what I'm hear about the shootings anymore. Really, I mean, they're such a regular occurrence.
And that's not to shit on the States at all. I just think we're all moving to, I just think America's ahead of us whatever the direction that we're heading.
But as you said, Luke, we've got we're all so worried about ourselves and and what does that mean for the future? The biggest issue, one of the many, many issues that this brings up is, what do we do for children about it? Maybe don't have it plastered on primetime news in a cycle all day long so that your child who's on school holidays will be exposed to it. There's a time for adult news.
And so we take violence out of shows that were made for entertainment value.
No, but there's a difference between that and that now these kids, obviously the kids that were there are going to have massive issues because they've had to not only go through that but also walk through the crime scene where there were dead and dying people, blood, etc., etc. Like, there's the video of that father who, I don't know, has a very quick mind and managed to buy his kids eye masks and walk them out of the complex wearing eye masks so they wouldn't have to see anything. Like, that's some amazingly quick parenting and solving an issue, straight away. But for every one of those parents, there's like, this guy was chasing people with their children, like, with a knife.
Fucking nuts.
And they're showing that on television when they know that children are home. And they're like, their parents who have to care for them.
Is there a warning on it?
No, this is the thing. Like, even when it was happening, they were not blurring that the day it happened. They were not blurring out faces. They were not blurring out any kind of that thing. 2 or 3 days later, you get, well, we've got blurred out knives. The damage is already done at that point. Like, it takes a child to see something once and go, well, we shop at a Westfield. What is that? That happens in every Westfield. So now every time I go to a Westfield, I'm going to be worried that someone's going to come and stab me. Like,
But maybe we should be.
But they don't. I don't know. It should be up to the parent when and how that information is disseminated. Because you're both working parents. Imagine one of your family friends had to take your kids to a shopping center, and your kid's like, I'm not with my dad. What do I do? Like, do you need to put kids in that kind of trauma just because it's the news? Again, I'm not a parent. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I don't disagree with you. I think it's important that children are aware there is danger around, but there's not always danger. It's just to be aware of the signs of it.
But this is the thing.
But you don't want to have like going to the store as a traumatic event. But you know what? We went to one of the stores in America where something terrible happened, and I knew it happened. Like, obviously my daughter didn't, but I couldn't help but think like, wow, like something terrible happened here. And that was in my mind, and it could happen again. I'm not completely safe, so I will be taking an extra glance over my shoulder. I will be watching.
But isn't that's an adult responsibility? That's an adult responsibility.
Yes, true.
Not a child's.
I mean, I guess it's different over here when you have kids, little kids going to school with metal detectors,
and they're doing like
clear backpacks,
drills, so aren't they, Jeff? Where they've got to learn how to escape a shooter.
So I mean, they're already traumatized from a very young age here. So it's wild to me that this is, and I think about at our age, when we were children, we took off and left on our bike.
Hours.
Yeah.
Gone. Our parents had no idea where we were.
Till the sun
home
went
after
down.
dark for dinner. Yep.
I mean,
that was just how it was. I used to put my sister in a stroller and take her with us. So we had a baby with us in our group of friends.
And how old
and
were
we'd
you?
be running around in the park. I would have been about 11.
Yeah.
She would have been about 3. And we'd have her in a stroller, take her up because we lived right next to the zoo, which is like a free zoo. We'd hang out there all afternoon, head home once the sun started to set, and that was just normal. All the kids in the neighborhood would play together. It was a different time, I know, as I get old and feeble and reminisce, but I think some of that is definitely lost now because maybe we are a little bit more vigilant, like vigilant in some ways, and we worry more now.
10 years old, on our bikes, riding all through town to each other's houses. And I'm like, I couldn't imagine these kids walking around the corner by themselves.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Oh, look, it is very, very different times, but of course, it goes without saying that all of our thoughts and I'm going to say prayers, but I don't pray, go to the people that are affected by this, because it is something that will stick with people for a long time, and not just the victims of the crime. There are people that work in that shopping center every day that are gonna deal with, like, even me where I work. I have noticed an increased security presence. We got a memo around saying that there will be an increased security presence for the next few weeks because of X, Y, and Z. So,
and can we stop stigmatizing getting help?
Yeah,
when you need
exactly.
it. Like, mental health care should not fucking be an issue. People should not be stigmatized for getting diagnosed, for getting help. This is insane that there's so many people not getting the help they need, and this is the result.
All right, should we jump to another mental health story that's maybe a little bit more our speed?
I can't wait.
I don't know if you have you've probably definitely said there's no sadly there's no Amelia Earhart, there's no crabs. I wish there was. I think we might start an Amelia Earhart podcast. Going down with Amelia or something. Getting down with Amelia. I don't know. We've got to have something snappy, like, we've got to have something snappy, like, a bone cracking when someone. Anyway, please tell me that you guys have seen this story in the news.
No, you're going to have to explain it.
This woman is Erica de Souza Vieira Nunes, and she wheeled a corpse into a bank trying to get a bank loan.
Sorry, I did. I am aware they've just blurred him out because he was the focus point of what I'd seen.
Yeah.
What?
So this happened in
Weekend
Rio
at Bernie's, Jeff.
Bank loan at Bernie's. Yeah, this is a bank loan at Bernie's. This is.
I'm sorry.
Rio de Janeiro on Tuesday. And the original video was recorded by the bank staff because this woman was trying to get him to co-sign on a loan for him. She was using his own hands to hold his head up and maneuver his hand, like her hands to hold his head up and maneuver his hands. Nunes addressed the dead man as her uncle and urged him to sign financial documents necessary for her to secure a $3,400 loan. She was noted as saying, "Uncle, are you listening? You need to sign. I can't sign for you. Sign so you don't have to give me any more headaches. I can't take it anymore." The staff replies, "I don't think this is legal. He doesn't look well. He's very pale."
He doesn't look well. He's dead, mate.
Oh,
this man, if you go look, the video is out there. This man is very obviously dead.
Why did they even let it go on long enough?
Well, do you expect someone to be wheeling around a corpse?
I've seen Weekend at Bernie's, so yes, but she could have thrown a Hawaiian shirt on him or something.
Put some glasses on him at least. Like he's like
pupils.
Why would you go? I mean, how dense was this bitch that why wouldn't you just go and do one of the fucking loans online and use the motherfucker's information?
She probably couldn't. That's the thing. Like, she's probably exhausted all of those avenues. And so she has to go.
No, I bet you anything this bitch wasn't that smart. Guarantee it. Luke, try to book this bitch.
She's being booked.
Jail.
Yeah.
We'll get her from jail. Where's she at? What country? Where is she?
Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, we can't.
Yeah. We ain't gonna see her.
I'll bet a long distance. Let's see if we can get her from the jail.
So she faces possible charges, including theft through fraud, embezzlement, and abuse of a corpse.
Yeah.
I mean, can you really embezzle from the dead?
I think it's more embezzlement. I think it's more embezzlement from the financial institution by pretending that this man was alive.
I think she should. I think Jeffrey would agree she should be charged with just stupidity as well.
Yeah,
Like, honestly.
I think there should be a stupidity clause. Absolutely.
Couldn't she have even had like someone else who looks like him go in with her? Like, who knows? Like, there's so many other options. Like wheeling in the fresh corpse. Like, oh, hi everyone.
But this is not like an unheard of thing. 2 women in Florida, I believe, tried this a couple of weeks ago with a man. Like, so you know how it happens in Florida when all the old singles get together and they live together and they give each other the clap until they're 75 and all that kind of stuff.
A bit like Golden Girl.
This old guy died, and the 2 women that he was living with did the same thing. Tried to get his money.
What, wheeled him in?
It was. I don't think they wheeled him in. I think they just tried to get his money. It's not an unheard of thing, but I don't think that it was like a wheeled in kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
well, look, props to her for taking a chance. You know, you never know if you don't try, right?
It's definitely interesting.
Well, it's like, what's her face from Desperate Housewives? She kept her husband in the freezer so she could get the Social Security checks. You gotta do what you gotta
this
do.
Chick should have done. She could have played this out a lot longer. She didn't see the long game in this. She was like, "Oh, I can quickly get a load."
You just gotta get a bigger freezer.
Well, there's chest freezers because you can fold the body. It'll be all right.
Hey, maybe that's what the loan was for.
Get in before the.
I know, and then like you're gonna go through all that, bring the dead body into the bank, and then how did she keep it fresh from stinking?
They assume that he only died within the last 24 hours because he was.
And then she only went for like 3,000 and some.
I know.
But how stupid would you be too? Like, honestly, you are right, Jeff. She's an idiot. Like, who finds someone dead? Like, obviously, she'd woken up that morning and he's died in bed or whatever. I'd be like, oh, off to the bank.
Right,
like,
I guarantee
like
you.
That?
I guarantee you, she did not try to get a loan online. Because she could have just stole his information.
She wouldn't have had time. She was thinking, "Oh, I got to get him in there real quick."
Right, because she could have got away with that.
I got this body here.
She could have done it and then been like, "Oh, he died." You know what I mean? Then I found him in bed. Like she could have pulled that shit off.
You never know. You never know.
Well, Jeff, I'll be sure to call you whenever I come across a dead body next. You can advise me the right.
You better hope they have good credit.
Well,
Not
maybe
sure.
Uncle didn't, and that's why she could only go for a little stink.
Should have got 3,400 because he owed back taxes on videos or something. He wasn't being kind of rewinding because the majority of the rest of this, the news of this week,
his copy of Weekend at Bernie's.
The majority of the rest of this week's news has a very 90s flavor to it. And I know that we are very much children of the 80s and 90s, so we know we know how we feel about this kind of thing. Where to start? You know that you guys see Tiger Woods taking out members of the onlooking crowd?
No, what happened?
Tiger.
What's Tiger doing now?
He literally took somebody out with one of them. He was trying to eat. The Tiger's on this little "I'm having a comeback" moment. Chipped it away.
Tiger's someone with non-mental health issues too, right? Like, we can't really make light.
Yeah, but it wasn't on purpose.
Oh, okay. So this wasn't an intentional
This is an accident. No, this was an accident chip of the ball into somebody's skull. But the funny thing is, this is the second time it's happened to somebody when it was Tiger Woods. It also happened in 2014 as well. So Tiger is not every 10 years. Tiger just needs to not play golf, I think.
Hey, wait, he's like the best golf player in the world. How can you accidentally hit a ball into someone's head? I think
not
it's
anymore.
It's not
so
accidental.
Tiger after his wife went fucking crazy on the car with the golf club when she found out he was cheating on him.
That was the fucking greatest day of all time.
Right?
Oh my
that was
God.
Melrose Place.
I fucking am in love with her in all fucking ways. She's my goddamn hero.
That's amazing. Thank you for that segue because more big news this week. They're back! ladies and
Starring
gentlemen,
Tiger Woods.
for a reboot that I didn't see coming. I like we'd always. I think when you love a show,
Well,
you
what's
always
it
hope
gonna
that there's
be? I mean, they're fucking all like in their 60s. It's gonna be like Golden
Do-
Girls in Melrose Place. How the fuck are they gonna do this?
Do you want it? I've got the info for you.
Yeah, I'm not excited about this. Go ahead.
You're not excited? Okay.
Well, I mean, I am,
So-
but I'm not.
Melrose
How's Heather
Place is coming
Locklear?
for a relaunch with 3 of its original stars: Laura Leighton, Daphne Zuniga, and of course Heather Locklear. Now, this is the official synopsis of the show. When one of their dearest friends dies suddenly, the OG residents of Melrose Place gather to honor
to
the
the bank.
deceased. But the pressure cooker of a reunion soon uncovers old traumas, rekindles old romances, reignites old resentments, and reveals new secrets, throwing our characters into chaotic drama that's reminiscent of the past, but with a much more modern perspective. Who's going to die, Jeff?
Are we fucking just redoing the goddamn CW reboot? We're coming back.
Well, they're
with the
ignoring.
murder?
No, they're ignoring it. They're
Right,
ignoring
but I'm
the
saying we're
CW.
just gonna redo that plot line.
But who do you think's going to
Hey,
die?
Did you see who's not the executive producer?
Yeah.
Laura and Daphne are. Guess who's not?
Yeah. You think they're going to kill
do-
Heather?
Well, who was supposed to die originally in the CW reboot?
I don't know.
Heather?
They kill.
Heather was supposed to be floating in the pool.
Oh,
That
there
was
you go.
that was supposed to be her role, and she said "fuck off." So they got Laura.
So you
to
reckon
do it.
Heather's going to be the dead body in this?
I
one
think
then?
it's going to be Michael Mancini
I think that would be good. I think Thomas is
because
gonna
he
be
was
good.
the only other character that stayed around the entire show.
And then
But
Disney.
Heather
Steve,
was-
do you think?
Let's be honest. Let's be real, because Heather wasn't original cast. Heather came in season 2.
Do you think when they find the dead body, they're going to take them to the bank?
No, because
I'm-
that property alone is bank.
But what are they going to do? They're going to have all these 60-year-olds. I mean, I understand property's expensive in LA, but they're all living in the apartments.
I reckon there's going to be some weird ass like will stipulation or something that they have to live in the property for so long and blah blah blah. I think it's going to be.
My thing is the apartments were a character on that show, so
Yeah.
you can have them redone, but you cannot do what they did because that didn't look anything. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, and they've got to be authentic to the show that people remember.
yeah,
The thing that I'm really sad about, and I think I will struggle with, is that there's no way we can have Kimberly back. I think it would have been cool if
they could do it.
Well, she died like twice.
They were going
She
to
died of an
back,
aneurysm
though.
on screen the second time. But wouldn't it be cool if, like,
They could do it.
secretly Kimberly had diaries about everyone, and like that's the information that someone's
We
holding on to?
watched Laura get run over by a fucking car in her wedding dress.
I know. Poor
They're
Sydney.
bringing her back
Poor Sydney.
twice, so they can bring Kimberly back.
I know. I think
That
there has to be
crazy
some
bitch.
way we have to get Marsha Cross in there some way, because that show, chef's kiss. When Marsha was losing her fucking mind, and that place blew up. Stop it.
Oh, I think
Must
that would
be
be the
TV.
smartest thing they could do is bring back, like, when that show was hot, as many of those
Yeah.
cast members and really kind of just go balls to the fucking wall soap opera. and
Well,
just
do you
have
know
fun
who?
with it?
Do you know who's free and not contracted to a TV show at the moment?
All of them.
Lisa Rinna.
Eh.
Could we see Lisa Rinna back on Melrose?
Is she
you
gonna
be
go
a
get
bitch?
naked on the side of the road again and honk for Lisa Rinna on Melrose?
That's great. That's great. We love Rinna though.
Oh,
She was great on that show.
she
She was great.
She was all right.
All right, more 90s news. Well, this is
So,
technically 80s and 90s news. Did you guys even know that there was a reboot of The Naked Gun happening?
No.
No.
Starring Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson.
I
So
mean,
Liam will be
Liam Neeson's obviously
Obviously.
going to play the part
Leslie
of
Nielsen's
Leslie.
character.
Leslie Nielsen. And
Frank
Priscilla Presley's
Drebin.
part is going to be, it's going to be played by good
Pamela.
old Pamela. Discuss. I'll be back in
Look,
just a
I'm
second.
down for it. I'm down for it. Like, I
I'm-
think that Pamela is a lot of fun, and I think that it could be done. Like, I can see her doing those same mannerisms. Like, I thought Priscilla Presley was amazing as Frank's wife. Like, I loved her in those films. That's why I was like, why doesn't Priscilla act more? She's funny. Like, her and Leslie had great chemistry. I thought it was a good time. I even like O.J. Simpson in those movies. So, yeah.
The one thing I do demand is that we get a Priscilla Presley cameo and she's a taxidermy, like she owns a taxidermy stuff, like shop. Nice beaver. No? No?
Yeah,
No one?
no, I think for sure she should do something. I mean,
She's got to
still
be.
around.
She's the last surviving cast member at the moment.
Is she really
Let's
the
be
last one?
Well, OJ's just
OJ's
shipped
No,
off.
what's his face is still around.
Lead characters,
Who?
I'm talking.
I thought what's his name? It was.
Who?
What was Frank's wife's name in the show? Who did Priscilla play? I can't think of her name.
Can't
It's
remember.
eating at me.
It's been too long since I've seen those movies. I couldn't tell you. I don't think I even watched all of 33 and a Third. I think I slept.
Oh, you
yeah.
need to. It's got
I've
your
only
favourite
really seen
girl in it,
parts.
Anna
I don't
Nicole.
remember.
It's got Anna Nicole in it. How could you not?
Yeah,
It's
which
not really-
convicted murderer are we going to have as the cast in this one? Who knows? Who knows?
Caitlyn Jenner.
Brandy?
That's vehicular manslaughter. Leave her alone. She can't help it.
Rebecca Gayheart.
Stop it. We love
Anne
her.
Heche?
What? No, she's dead.
No, Anne ain't acted in this one. She's joined the
Anne's-
rest of the cast.
Yeah,
Of the old one.
Yeah. So things fell apart, just like for this other 90s individual. Remember John Wayne Bobbit, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes.
The one who got
And
his
did you
dick
also
chopped
say that
off?
things fell
One-
apart for
one-
Anne?
Yes. Well, things have really fallen apart for John Wayne Bobbit as he has come forward to reveal that he has had his 10 toes amputated over the 30
Oh,
years since.
Bits are
He
dropping
made
off
headlines.
everywhere for Johnny.
Yes. Now, he is part of the
Well,
Camp
there's
legit-
people listening who have no idea who John Bobbit is.
Back in the 90s, John Wayne Bobbit became famous when his wife Lorena found out he was cheating on her, and she cut off his penis with a kitchen knife and drove away and threw it in a bush. Now they
Melrose
managed
placed that
to
shit right out of there.
they managed to reattach his member. He had a porn career for a while. I believe the movie was called Frankencock or Frankenpenis or something like that, wasn't it?
Frankenpenis, yes.
Yeah.
I've not seen it. I
Well,
don't
of course,
want to see it.
we'll
I don't
know.
need to see more surgical
You've
scars.
seen
He was
it.
a
I
good,
don't think it's sexy.
he was a good looking. He was an alright looking guy back in the day, but now he is part
He was
of the
feel my sky.
he's part of the Camp Lejeune court case, saying like he obviously lived on a Air Force base where the water supply was severely contaminated. He was diagnosed with toxic peripheral polyneuro. Fuck me, my God, I should have broken this down.
What
Toxic
Steve has.
peripheral polyneuropathy. Neuropathy.
Neuropathy.
So he's losing bits of himself left, right, and center. Like as I said, he's the worst Mr. Potato Head. You know when you've had Mr. Potato Head too long and the
Well,
things
no.
start to just fall out of the holes?
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
don't
bleh.
stay in anymore.
They don't stay in anymore. So he's having that problem with his digits now. They're going. He now lives in Florida.
That's nice for him. He can come and join us at our
his-
Amelia's Earhart.
Yeah, his condition has caused nerve damage and osteomyelitis, a bone infection that leads to ulcers and requires skin grafts.
At least the crabs wouldn't have to work hard to break him up with their little pinches.
No, they would not. But it's like tender meat slipping off the bone. But do you want
Yeah,
the
it's
best?
like
you
a slow
want the
cook.
best?
Oh, is his
Got the-
penis falling apart again?
No, but do you want the best reveal from this article? He spoke to the Sun and believes that the mental and physical scars from living at Camp Lejeune and the contamination led to the downfall of his wife and relationship with his wife, Lorena. I wasn't behaving the way I should have, he told the outlet, adding, maybe I would have made better decisions if my cognitive functioning weren't distorted by chemicals. He's trying to blame his wandering pecker on the government.
Yeah.
He's the worst kind of man. It's never
He's a little
his
bit
fault.
of a narcissist.
It's never his
let's
fault.
gaslight some more. Woo!
My cock may have got cut off. My fingers are falling off. My flesh is falling off the bone like a well-cooked chicken. But it's not my fault. Nothing I do is my fault.
Send in the crabs.
Send in the crabs, definitely. Do you know who else the crabs can go for? Controversial. Will Smith. Because he's on... Will Smith is on a comeback trail.
Those motherfuckers.
Hey, remember the 90s when I was a non-threatening children's rapper? I'm going to randomly appear at Coachella to perform Men in Black. What?
He should have done Boom Shake the Room.
Yeah, do at least, like, I get that he's pandering to millennials and going, hey, remember when everyone loved me before I fucking went off the rails in front of everybody? Like come on, dude. Like, that reeks of PR. Well, who knows what goes on behind the scenes of fucking the world. I think the Smiths are gathering together quite tightly because Jaguar Wright has her own podcast now. We talked about her a while back, and she was talking all about Diddy and Jay-Z and all that stuff, and all this stuff that's now actually proven to be true. She has a lot to say about the Smiths. Or it's a bad time to be a 90s musician at the moment for some of them. It's just like, oh, that is awkward.
But leave Britney alone.
Well, she's fine, Bubs. She's spinning. She's got a cooter out in the Pacific waters. She's living. She's just living her life. And I
Watch
think
out for crabs, Britney.
Britney's like, oh, crabs. She wouldn't even worry about them. She's like, Britney's like just spinning around on tropical islands. Christina's on Ozempic, looking thinner than she ever was as a teenager. She's living her life. It's just like, it just seems to me like, yeah, there was like this whole Diddy related circle of people that are now like going, count the days, waiting for the feds to come roll up on them and be like,
oh my god, and Kesha is not fucking with P. Diddy no more.
I loved it. Did you see it?
Fuck P. Diddy.
Yeah, look up in the morning saying, fuck P. Diddy. I love Kesha.
And then Bieber and
he looks like he's dying.
He was kissing
he was kissing on Will Smith's son. They were grinding with each other. But he looks like he died a little bit. Like, he doesn't look well.
Well, he's got a bunch of medical stuff problems.
It looks like he's Bethany Daniels.
He had that thing where half his face was numb.
Yeah, stroke.
I can't remember what it's called.
Bell's palsy.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was Bell's palsy related, but it was something to do with the feet. Like he had like a blood poisoning. Tiddy-boo. I don't know. I think Will just has to sleep in the bed that he made now. You wanted to make it like this big statement by slapping Chris Rock. You got to go, hey, remember this? Remember this? Remember this? It's like, no one cares, bro.
Going to Miami. Get jiggy with it.
How long do you think it's going to be till he tries to reboot Fresh Prince of Bel-Air again?
It's already rebooted.
I know, but he's kind of done.
He'll be like, oh, man, that's too dark, man. That's not what the original show was about. And then they'll try and do it again. And then the original Art Viv will come out again and go, fuck you, motherfucker.
No, I don't.
I don't think he's coming back because I think the public certainly didn't favor him in that altercation with Chris Rock.
I don't think he deserves to come. Like, I think that, you make that decision in the heat of the moment. Granted, yes. But like Vera always says on this show, your actions have repercussions. If you can't think about what slapping another person on international television is going to do to your career as, like a multi-generational safe figure that earns millions of dollars from that reputation, then tough titties, I say. Suck us that one.
I think everybody deserves a second chance.
Are you okay? did you just surprise yourself there?
No, I didn't know if it was the kid or the damn rat guinea.
Oh, it's still alive?
So, Jeff, you're here for Will Smith's redemption arc.
Jeff wants Will Smith to show up on the Melrose Place reboot.
No.
No. All right, before we finish, I have a view from here for you. I know what Jeff says is going to be. Okay, being people of a certain age, we've lived through we've lived through a bit of life, and you remember what it's like to, fall in love with someone for the first time, and everything's all amazing and rah rah rah. But there is a down to that kind of thing.
Oh, my battery's dying. Oh dear.
22-year-old has taken to Reddit, claiming that his amazing girlfriend and he are super compatible in a lot of ways. Except she has already coerced him into a a plant-based diet, which she says, my girlfriend was proud of you going cruelty-free and everything seemed well. We became the vegan couple on our college campus. So they've been going out, they've been going strong, not eating meat and getting bone density problems
these
forever.
People the crabs already. Yeah.
No, something came between them. The Redditor's cat, whose name is Mittens. After a lot of talking and planning, my girlfriend sat me down and dropped a bombshell on me. She said that with this next phase of our relationship, she did not see a future with me unless I was willing to give away Mittens, my cat. She said that she believed owning a cat is unconscionable for vegans because they hunt mice and eat meat, and that because the very act of owning a pet is a violation of vegan principles.
Oh.
Okay, Jeff, you go. You've got.
He's got to take a sip. He's got to take a sip. Go.
That bitch would have been out the fucking door with her shit in the yard.
Right?
So fast. Like the audacity. Like pompous asshole. Oh.
I understand.
I don't see. I think her values are like owning a pet is almost like keeping an animal in prison or something. But these are domesticated animals. We sort of need each other. Like they need us so to survive now. They're not. Otherwise, what are we going to have? Feral animals, feral cats, feral dogs running around. And that wouldn't be something that we could exist in society with anyway, because it gets out of hand. So I think she means well, but she's just another moron.
But does she mean well? Because she's one of these fucking idiots. Like, my plant-based diet is saving the world, when it really isn't, because your plant-based options are increasing, like, carbon output. They're like destroying farming crops because they have to plant a certain amount of things in a certain amount of areas, wiping out other naturally occurring things. Like, you don't like your lifestyle just because you believe it's right isn't necessarily saving the world. Like, there's a very famous clip about an Australian farmer who confronts someone on about their vegan leather, exactly how much CO2 and stuff like that, how much damage it does to create these vegan alternatives to things.
Well, half of it's made up with chemicals and all kinds of bullshit.
Right. And you don't know, and you don't know what those chemicals are going to do to you in the long run. Like, it's new. It's
Miss
a new thing.
Madison Devine is the #1 culprit. This bitch will send me fucking pictures on
She's
TikTok.
watching.
Hi, bitch. Not TikTok. What's the yellow one there? The yellow one. The Snapchats. This asshole sends me pictures of her faux fucking bacon that looks like
that looks
the
not
dog
that's
bacon.
not
It
good.
looks like what dogs don't know. It's not bacon. Bacon strips. That's what it looks like.
No, Madison, I agree. I've
The
seen that on your
motherfuckers,
social
I'm like,
media.
bitch, you're gonna die. Just
I
eat,
haven't seen it, Madison, but I will look.
eat lettuce. Eat
Like,
lettuce.
have you not? These people need to just calm their farm, because there's a fucking story in the news this week about one of these fucking hippie trippy bullshit people who's been arrested for the murder of their child because they believe that their newborn baby could survive on a diet of sunlight. So the kid starved. The kid starved to
Well,
death. Like,
I always stand by my old saying. I heard it when I was very young, and I was like, that makes so much sense. You can't put brains in monuments.
very true.
We'll talk about
Yeah.
your that way.
I'm
But
just like,
honestly, some people just aren't very bright, and
we
they'll
had this
believe any
conversation
stupid
last week
shit.
about the vegan on the plane with the smell of food. Like, that's your belief, okay? It is not a genetic condition. It's not, it's not a medical condition. You're choosing to live a plant-based diet. Fair enough. Cool. I don't get how you get to come in and regulate somebody's life because, I don't know, her puss must be fire or something. That vegan pussy must be fire. Because poor Mittens, like, is
Did he
getting
get rid of
fucking
Mittens?
ousted.
Did he get rid of it?
No, I think that's what the whole Reddit was. Because it's
Okay,
like,
so
what do
he
I do?
dumped her. Oh,
Here you
what
go.
an
Here you go.
idiot.
He said, I think it goes without saying I am not getting rid of my cat. However, it pains me to think of an otherwise wonderful relationship could be ending because of difference in ideology. But that's when your girlfriend needs to just fucking chill out.
We need
You know
to
what I
find
mean?
a screen name.
No, that's when he needs to actually work out who he is and stop trying to mimic whatever his partner's all about. Grow some balls, mate. Look after Mittens, because Mittens didn't choose to be your pet. You chose her. So fuck the girlfriend off because she's an idiot. And then maybe go and look in the mirror and go, who am I? And find out who that is first before you cling on to someone else and start mimicking their life. You moron.
Yeah, you've already given up fucking meat. Like, what? I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't
go
care.
and have a
I
burger,
really
you
don't
loser. You
care
obviously
what
like
happens.
them.
I don't care what happens. Like, obviously, we're all going to die. I would rather have meat. I would rather fucking have meat than go, oh, isn't this soy
know you
just
want
delicious?
meat.
It's not. It's not.
Oh.
It's never been
I like
delicious.
soy
No
milk.
matter what you throw in it. Oh, isn't this tofu burger almost like a burger? No, it's not. Because you can't have meat-free chicken. You can't have meat-free beef. So call it something else. Because it ain't those things. Is it?
Tell John
That's
Wayne
like
Bobbit.
that's like me going, oh look at this cock-free pussy. Oh, amazing. Like, that's not
Exactly.
what
And like
lesbians
when the
do.
crabs
It is
were
in
ripping
China.
apart Amelia Earhart's tender, juicy flesh, they weren't
Oh.
going, oh, I wish this was tofu.
No,
Were they?
Maybe they did. You don't know. You weren't there.
that's the worst thing though. Remember, like, when you've eaten something and then they don't make it anymore? And you just keep
It's like
thinking
the
about it.
McRib, and I have to wait
they'll
a whole 12 months for another McRib.
Bitch,
They'll
you
never
could
have
just
Amelia again.
come to my shop. 'cause we
They'll
got
never
the
have a
red.
meal of Amelia.
They'll never have the Amelia meal again. We've got to think of those poor crabs, because crabs live forever. Like, they've got, like, those crabs could still be going, remember that? Remember when we ate Amelia's thigh? Oh, good times. They're never going to find that again.
I
Never
think
gonna
the
find that
show
again.
needs to go off air.
I think we need to crash into the ocean at this point, but it's been wonderful. Again, thank you for joining us. It's been a
We've killed
nasty
Jeffrey.
bit. Nasty
Jeffrey
bitches
looks like
boys
he's
club.
ready for
Jeff
ECT.
ready. Jeff's had his moment. Thank you for joining us, Luke. Thank you for joining us, Jeffrey. We do look. I don't like to talk about interviews before they're in the can, but we do have a delicious interview that's going to happen.
Oh, yes.
soon.
The crabs would have enjoyed those little ones.
Oh, I can't wait. But
With the
that's all I'm
side of
going to
mint
say.
jelly.
It's not even in the can yet. We can't talk about it, but stay tuned to Uncensored Radio. We've got some great stuff coming up. Thanks for joining us. Stay tender, because you never know when you're going to crash into the ocean and the crabs will need to eat you. Bye.
Oh my God. Luke, are you getting that train ran on you again?
Coming up after the show, Lee has a train.
Oh, yeah, and if you're still watching, make sure you go to YouTube, because we're really close to 600. We've got like 594 or something people. So let's go watch it, all right? Like, just do it.
Yeah, subscribe
it
to
for
us,
me.
please. We don't have any
Love ya.
subscribers on YouTube. YouTube's just been neglected and sad, like Amelia
We're
was on
only
the
at 600. That's all right.